All right, welcome. This is Ahead of the Count, episode 5. We got Josh Cologne, my good friend from way back in the day. Hey, I appreciate you coming on. Say what up.
No problem. Josh Cologne. Me and Mitchell go way back to freshman year of high school at Dr. Phillips. Just super excited for this podcast. Just be a part of it, be a part of something special for sure. So
Yeah, no, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, and it was cool just kind of how this all kind of turned out. Josh hit me up. He just kind of started up his own thing. He'll get into it pretty soon, but he played basketball. I played baseball in high school. We were both athletes. We got along pretty well. We had some fun times together and everything like that. But he actually direct messaged me a while back and was like, hey, I'm starting up this thing with real estate. If you know anybody that's looking, to buy a house or whatever, hit me up. I'm really looking to do this. And conveniently at that time, I wanted to start up a podcast, and I was like, hey, if you want to hop on this podcast and kind of talk about how you got to this point, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So just kind of bring everybody to this point. Tell them about your story because it's pretty cool.
yeah. So my story is pretty long, but I kind of just start back in high school when we met. Really, freshman year I was at Dr. Phillips. I was in the magnet program. Long story short, but I just transferred back to where I was zoned for, which is West Orange. There's not so much history there, but really it all starts at Windermere my junior year, Windermere High School, where it's a brand new school. And that's what kind of like I kind of made a name for myself with basketball and just college and getting recruited. I was also running track as well, and I played football for like half a season, which was really fun. But I got really noticed junior year of high school. I was talking to a lot of college coaches, a lot of different coaches, and just here and there, asking me for my grades and transcripts and all that stuff, and just the whole AAU stuff. With I'm sure it's the same thing as like travel ball with baseball. It's kind of the same thing with basketball. Um, so I just kind of got into there. Played 2 seasons at Windermere. We went to the Final Four my senior year. Lost by 2 to Blanche Ely. Heartbreaking, but and then after that, I committed to a JUCO in Maryland called Montgomery. I was practicing there for about 2 months, 2 to 3 months. I was getting ready to play, and then I didn't feel right about the situation. And then I just kind of, talked to my family and whatnot. And then I was ready to just go back home and transfer to another school. And then that's kind of how like the whole process started with college. I was practicing with the team and everything. And then as I got ready to transfer, COVID hit. And then that's just, I'm sure as plenty of you guys know, COVID is just something that kind of took everyone by surprise. And then as you're getting ready to transfer to a new school for basketball and you don't know where like sports is and you don't know where everything's gonna lead to, it's just kind of hard to like stay focused and get to a school. So then I got into my career stuff and stopped playing basketball in September of 2020. So then I took a few months to just get my real estate license, get my career jobs out the way, and then just focus on what I want to do with my life. And from there, it was just really simple. Got my real estate license, got a solar sales rep job. Those of you that don't know, it's like the solar panels that a lot of this country is trying to get like used to. I'm sure California is used to it by now, but Florida's kind of like up and coming with it. So I'm a solar sales rep as well, as a real estate agent for a Coldwell Banker. And then it's just really crazy though, cause like this past like year has just been like basketball or just starting my career stuff, and like it's been a huge change for me, which is I've adapted really well for the most part, especially with everything going on. So
Yeah, so dealing with that kind of big change, how's that been? What have you kind of learned from that?
honestly, I've learned a lot through it. Most importantly, I just learned to like anything in life is like can happen to you. It's just like anything can happen. So with me, I didn't never think I would be quit basketball ever. I'm sure like baseball is the same way. Like you never not gonna know like when you're gonna stop playing the sport you love because you grew up playing it all like your whole life. And then it was like a tough decision for me. I finally got like at peace with it once like I started talking to like different real estate firms and different jobs and interviews and just like the money opportunity that I can make. And then just I've learned a lot through basketball though. I think everything I have now is I get it from basketball. Like me working out every day, my routine, what I do, my craft. Like I treat real estate and my job as if I was still playing basketball. So it just works out perfectly. I take it very serious, of course, but it just works out perfectly. So
When I was thinking about this kind of idea of like, what I kind of wanted to talk about with people, that kind of mindset that kind of comes with it and stuff like that, especially in ahead of the count. I see your stories where you're at the gym at like, 8, 9 a.m. in the morning and, you're getting your work done. And that's exactly like the mentality that I think that a lot of the guys that I've talked to had or have. And I think that you carry that too. And it's cool to see that you're working hard, you're getting your shit done and everything like that. And I just it's good
yeah,
stuff.
without a doubt, that workout stuff I get all from basketball. When I was playing basketball, I was working out 5 a.m. basketball. Go home, showered, eat breakfast, do my thing. Like 11 a.m. weights and conditioning. Later during the day, this is when I was in school. Have to go to practice at like right after classes, like at 3 p.m. And then late night, I have to get better myself, individual skill workout. So like I was going through another workout just myself and with another teammate. So then I definitely get like my work ethic from basketball, especially now. Just not working out at the gym, like now, even not playing basketball is just really weird. Like if anything, I work out like more than I do like back then with basketball, which is kind of crazy. But I definitely get like my work ethic and just the gym stuff all from basketball. So basically everything that I do is just a lot from basketball.
Do you do you see like a lot of life lessons kind of like play out? The stuff that you've learned in basketball, those little things. Do you see them play out now? And now that you're kind of in a real job or
Yeah,
what?
most definitely. There's a lot of ups and downs. I know it sounds cliche, but there's definitely a lot of ups and downs, especially with a sales job, with two sales jobs and working full time. And then when it comes to just like talking to like different bosses and business people and clients, how you would talk to a college coach is how I talk to my clients, and like that's definitely how it goes. So I had no problem in that. I mean, when I first had my first interview with Coldwell, they were like, "How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 20 years old." They were like, "Wow, like you look really old. You're really mature." I was like, "Yeah, I kind of played basketball back in high school and talked to a lot of college coaches, so I kind of know how to talk to older people of like 30 and 40-year olds and work with customers and clients." So I mean, I definitely learned a lot. I think the biggest thing was just adapt to any situation. That's one thing that my coach in high school and coach in college just kind of drilled on us was just adapt to any situation. Don't let any like situation be too high or too low, and then you'll be perfectly fine. So
Yeah, no, you were a really good basketball player
yeah.
too. You played with some really cool people. So how'd you get into real estate specifically? What kind of attracted you to that?
I was back in high school. Honestly, a good friend of mine, Milo. He had the same class. I was a senior. He was a junior. And he was asking me like, well, where I was gonna go to school for college for basketball, what I was gonna do, majoring and all that stuff. And then we had a conversation. I talked to him about it. I was like, what are you gonna do like once you go to get a senior, go to graduate? He goes, I'm gonna get into real estate. And then it was at that moment I was like, real estate. I was like, all right, let me look it up, do some more research. So then, just over the years, even throughout high school and like through my college years, in my college year, like I just looked at real estate, did a lot of research on it, looked at a lot of money opportunities for it, and there's just something that like I think fit me well. Just making your own schedule. Talking to different people, meeting new people. I'm really outgoing. I know how to sell things, obviously, but it was just something that I just wanted to get into. Just from talking to Milo, and then I just had the opportunity and I jumped on it. COVID hit and I was like, basketball is gonna be no fans at games. Practices are gonna be like one practice a week because someone's gonna test positive, and it just that wasn't what I was interested in. Just it was just like I'm really set to like my routine and my schedule, and just getting adapted to like this COVID life with playing college sports is just not something that I was like really like looking forward to. So I just got into my career stuff, and real estate was the main thing that I wanted to do, even after I graduate college, and I just got into it 4 years earlier. So
Yeah, and it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive that you were realistic with yourself and what you were kind of gonna get out of basketball at that time. That was kind of like the same situation with me too in baseball. I had a couple junior colleges and just a couple opportunities there, and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. If I were to play baseball, I kind of wanted it to be more of like a 4 year school. I didn't want to go to a 2 year school and then transfer and things like that. Like that, it's kind of a tough just life,
yeah,
And
that's the thing with like I think there's like all high school. If you're a high school athlete, just hearing this, like that's one thing you have to know is like, what do you want out of like the school you go to, and you just have to know when to stop playing. There's like a certain point where like you just realize like, all right, like it's time for me to like get my education and just get to work and just do what I need to do to make something of myself. And I think I was blessed to like realize that really quick, as well as you were obviously going to FSU right now, which is one of the top academic schools. But it was just something that like I was just super like blessed to like realize quick, because there's a lot of guys out there. I know a lot of dudes out there still working on the craft, and they still like haven't like made it yet, and it's like it's tough. And like I applaud them for working out and doing their things every day and working out every daily and trying to make it. But it's just at a certain point you have to like be realistic with yourself. Not everybody gets to play Division 1, Division 2, or go to the NBA or MLB. So
yeah, and it's one thing like if your only opportunity to go to school is to play a sport and things like that, and I think that for a lot of people that's very beneficial for them to go and play a sport and get that college opportunity. But the big thing, just in my situation, probably yours too, is like I saw that the work ethic and just putting in the time is really the big thing, and you can really translate that to anything in life. So for any college athlete out there that's you know kind of weighing out your options, just kind of be realistic, talk to your family, and talk to your coaches too. If you don't really think that you're gonna get out what you expect, there's always something out there for you, and everybody has multiple dreams. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure. I mean, one big thing with me is like the reason why I didn't go to a 4 year was my SAT scores, and I mean I had a 3.2 GPA. Schools would look at my test scores and just be like, "Yeah, you're not gonna be able to like play here," which like, and I was like a bunch of the 4 year schools like said that to me, and which like really sucked because like if those of you that don't know, the SAT is kind of hard. Well, for some people it is, and like every time I took it, I was just like, it's a long test. I hate long tests. I hate studying for long tests. When schools just asked me what my test score was, I was just like, oh, just forget about it. Like, I'll just go JUCO, and JUCO was just kind of just opened my eyes really like quick. The second like they hit me up, and then I was just like, yeah, I mean, I'll commit right away. And after the first week, I committed like right away, and they were like, yeah, we don't really care about your test scores. You're a good player. You have good grades. You'll go somewhere after this. And that's just kind of my input on that whole thing with where to go and how school goes, and how important the test score like really is, which I took really lightly. I should listen to my parents, but I took the test scores though really lightly. I just thought my grades would get me anywhere I wanted, which didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I had trouble on the SAT too. I got into Florida State. It was the only place that I applied to. I did have to take a semester at like the community college at
Tallahassee, right? Yeah,
TCC or
TC.
whatever. Shout out TCC, I guess. Um, Funny story. I actually like tried out for like the baseball team there that spring going into my freshman year of college, and I didn't mess up, but I just like did not have a good outing at all. And they basically told me like they were like, "Hey, you can try and walk on, but like it's not gonna be good." I
And
was
then
just like,
walking on out of JUCO is, I mean, that's a good thing to do. It's just not what you want to do.
yeah. And I guess what a lot of people, maybe if you're not an athlete, or I mean, if you just kind of love what you're doing, you know that it's just an emotional roller coaster. I mean, there's so many times that just you could probably say the same thing. I've been extremely disappointed at times and everything like that, and it was just kind of like one of those things where it was like, do I really want to go and kind of gamble on just going through that again? It's tough.
It's a
It's
lot
really
of
tough.
long nights, a lot of talks with your family, a lot of dang, should I quit? And just especially in high school, like even when high school was like we're all like the stars of our school, and at a good school playing like the sport that we love. Like even in high school, there's tough times where like you just feel like, dang, do I really like want to get up and just do this and do that? I still got to do homework, and like it's just you still got to worry about school and worry about college, and it's a lot of stress for student athletes for sure. But that's just kind of how I went about it.
So you and I would kind of have similar size like social media followings and things like that. I think your personal account probably has a little bit more than that mine does. But what are you kind of doing to like grow your business on social media? Because this is kind of something that I could probably benefit from as well as anybody that's trying to.
Yes. So my personal account I've had since probably like middle school. I do have like about 3,000 followers. Not to brag or anything, that's a little bit compared to what other people have these days. But I mean, a lot of those people are just like a lot of friends that I've had. I went to three different high schools. Dr. Phillips, West Orange, and Windermere. So I've met a lot of people. I also have two older brothers that like I know a lot of their friends, and we're all good friends. And so I just kind of took like my social media just to build like my brand. As you know, like real estate and having two sales job is really about building your brand and building about who you are. So like my bio is just everything that I do. A little bit of accolades here and there, and then a lot of things that I post aren't like things you would see like in a typical like college like guy. Like normally you would see like partying all the time and stuff like that, or like you know I keep my personal account really business as well. I don't really post anything crazy. I post a lot of quotes, a lot of workout videos. I post a lot of real estate stuff and solar sales stuff. And just a lot of stuff that I do throughout the days. I've actually one of my biggest things that I like did, even just it wasn't about building my brand or anything like that. I've been doing this since like freshman year. I post a lot of motivational quotes on my Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you see a lot of motivational quotes, and that's a big thing that I do. Reason is because every once in a while I get a message from just one of my followers that say, "Hey, like I was really down today, and like this really like brought me up," or like I actually got one 2 days ago. He plays college basketball. I won't say his name, but he texted me like a long paragraph just saying like how I'm an inspiration to him and like how I motivated him, and like those are the people that I do it for. So like even if it catches one person's eyes and like it helps them throughout their days, I think I've like did a good job. And like at the end of the day, I'm trying to be like a good person for myself, like not only for myself but for other people as well. So then just everything I post on my social media is just for like just to motivate someone else. My workout videos just kind of shows people like a little bit of my work ethic, but also like the type of workouts that I do, the things that I do throughout my days. Having two full time jobs and still being able to work out every day and wake up at 6 in the morning and still work out, and also still have a good time as well on the weekends, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know I like to do. So I post a little bit of going out as well because we're all human. We all like to have fun, and so that's kind of how I kind of build my brand. But mainly it's just kind of just being myself. My business account is something different. That's just straight real estate stuff and straight my jobs and what I do. That actually has about like 500 followers right now, but I'm gonna start posting more really soon on my business account because I'm gonna start getting more listings and stuff over time. So definitely got to start posting there more. But yeah, I mean, just it's all about building your brand, especially with a sales job. People need to know like what you do, which is why I DM'd you actually. So like I did DM a lot of people, just kind of what I do, and if they know anybody selling a house or a listing, or looking to buy or anything like that, because obviously referrals is like the number one thing in real estate, and since I know a lot of people inside Orlando, it's just kind of big on me to reach out to other people because you never know who's going to be selling. And I actually already have like right now two good friends of mine that their parents are looking to sell their house. So and I'm great friends with them. So hopefully I'll get their listing as well. So like just off of sending about 20 DMs, you get a potential two listings, and that's kind of like how social media is used these days. Just a lot of business accounts.
I've noticed your quotes and everything like that. I
Yeah,
like them. I'm one of those people that really enjoys, reading those
yeah.
motivational stuff. Is there any like books or anything that you're reading right now? Do you like to read any kind of like motivating or like inspiring
So
things?
I actually love reading like inspiring like things that help me like learn every day. I hate reading like school stuff. I hate reading boring stuff. But when it comes to like learning about your job, learning about different quotes and different books, that's definitely something I love learning about. One thing that I actually am reading right now is Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is, but it's basically just a book on how to leverage your money, what to do for work, and just kind of how to go about your money and how to spend it. So I'm in right now. I'm getting into like a lot of different like types of stocks. My brother loves all that stuff. It's kind of confusing to me, like the whole AMC and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that stuff. I'm starting to get into a lot of stuff like that because my brother's been teaching me a lot about that. But most of the books that I read is just inspirational. Things that I do the most though is watch a lot of podcasts, which is why, like, once you asked me about this podcast, I was like, dude, I'm for sure down. Just let me know the day and time, and I'm there. But I watch a lot of podcasts. I get a lot of my stuff from podcasts more than reading, because reading takes time. Where you can just watch a podcast on YouTube and it's like 20 minutes out of your day, and you watch the whole thing. You learn like almost everything. So then I'm into a lot of watching podcasts, Apple Music on my phone. I just sit in the sauna after working out and just put on a podcast. I'll put on like a different pastor. Like right now, I listen to a lot of Stephen Furtick. I don't know if you know who that is. Probably don't. But he's a pastor in South Carolina, I believe, and then he has a podcast out, and he just goes over like just different stuff on just like his sermons and stuff like that. But a lot of stuff that I get like on my Instagram, like all the quotes I post, is from different podcasts, different Instagram accounts that I see and that I actually like love because I follow like a few different motivational accounts and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like how I get a lot of my like information from, how I go throughout my days. I spend a huge part of my days just trying to learn something new every day. That's a big thing with me. Trying to learn something new every day off of just different podcasts and different readings that I do. So I'm big on just learning and being a better person every day and helping someone else out.
I actually just found this book yesterday, but it's called it's like The Game of Work or something
The
like
game
that.
of work.
Yeah, and it's essentially just kind of like changing the mentality of like how to look at work.
Oh yeah.
But some really really interesting
I'm sure it
stuff.
talks about like, oh, not like quit your 9 to 5 or some stuff like that.
Yes and no, but it's really just kind of like when you play basketball, you're getting instant feedback and like instant just people are there to tell you what you're doing wrong, but like when you're in work, nobody's really there to tell you what you do wrong, what you don't. And one of the big things is like a lot of people kind of get stuck in a job because they haven't really improved, like they'll have one job their entire life and that's kind of it. But the most successful people are the ones that kind of seek that feedback and everything like that, and that's the biggest thing, I
Yes.
guess.
Right now it's like I'm going through this stage where like it's super weird right now to like listen to like different like work podcasts and like money investing and how to handle your money and like where compared to like a year ago, like today, like I was watching a good workout video of basketball, like different like motivational like videos and different documentaries about basketball, and now it's just like it's so crazy like how much like your life can change in a year.
Oh yeah.
And like the things that I'm doing now is just I would never thought like in a million years I would be doing it like right now this early in my life, which is kind of crazy. It's just crazy how like things change like throughout time, especially
Yeah.
this fast.
Kind of going off that, how have you been dealing with like that big change? I feel like a lot of people are going through giant change right now, but
Yeah, so I think everyone's going through the big change with COVID and just figuring out their schedules. I'm sure a lot of people out there like have to work from home now, and school is like online, and depending on where you live. But Yeah, I've handled it pretty well. One big thing about me is like I'm strict to my routine. So like I'm big on schedule. I have a morning routine that I do. Wake up, shower, pray and do all that stuff, and eat, and then leave to work out, and then like later go to work and do my because I make my own schedule with everything that I do. So then I'm big on routine. I think that's one big thing that is important to me as well as I'm sure other people. But if you aren't like on a routine, your life can seem hectic. Like I mean, you're all over the place. You don't really have time to yourself. So I'm big on routine just because I get like I'm an organized person. Like I have OCD. Like if my schedule isn't like up to par with like what I'm doing for that day, like I'm like freaking out. So like I stick to a routine. Typically my routine is wake up 6 a.m. work out, come back home, eat breakfast, and then go to my job and do my work, and then maybe work out again later, do the sauna later, and kind of just enjoy myself, for a couple hours throughout the night. And then weekends, I just go out and hang out with a few friends. It's kind of my free time. I try to not schedule anything on the weekends just because I hate working on Saturdays, especially Friday nights. This is kind of my time just to hang out with a few of my friends and just do my thing because I think that's important as well as working all the time. I think enjoying yourself is definitely another important thing because you don't want to be so caught up in work where you lose 5 years of your life and like you're missing out on like different stuff with like your friends and people that you love to be with, your family. So I think that's definitely something important that I think everyone should be taken advantage of is like your routine. I think that's the biggest thing with me. If I'm not on a routine, I get crazy.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. You were saying that you're a pretty religious guy. I was actually talking to the person that I recorded the first episode with. We were just kind of talking about like just like the state of like church and stuff like that. Where do you find the best like religious like Christian? You're a Christian, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't necessarily learn something that, or I don't necessarily kind of find what I seek when I go to church. But I do find it in different ways.
Yeah.
What's kind of like your way of?
So I grew up in church. Both my parents are pastors, as well as like full time accountants at their jobs. So I kind of grew up in church. So it was kind of easy for me. My whole family is Christian, and I just kind of grew up in that background. But as you get older, you kind of like tend to grow out of that a little bit, just because you're with other people around that like have different like views and different. So you learn different stuff throughout the years, and then lately, just like throughout high school, probably like more my junior, senior, and all the way till now, I do go like I go to church. A lot of the stuff that I get from church though is just trying to better myself for like that week. So like I don't really go to church to like learn like something specific about the Bible. Although I'm sure it's a good thing to do, but that's not really like what I do it. It's good to learn that. Don't get me wrong, but one big thing for me is to just to get like one big like message out of the whole like church service. So like when like the pastor's preaching or whatever, I try to get like the main message out of that, and then just like kind of apply it to my life. And then another big thing that I do is I do have the Bible verse, the Bible app download on my phone. I read the verse like every day, so I read one verse every morning when I wake up. And then I just that's kind of where I get a lot of my religious side stuff. I wouldn't say religious because I think that's religious is kind of like an overused term these days, and I'm not religious to the sense like I'm 20 years old. I go out, I do this and that, but I'm still a good person. I'm still, like have my head on my shoulders. But I think for anybody out there that's like, oh, like I want to get into church. I wanted to like just because I'm not going to church like doesn't mean like you're not a good person. Like I think that's like kind of like a myth that a lot of people have these days. You don't have to go to church to be a good person. I know a lot of people that don't even believe in God actually that are great people. So I don't know how that works, but they're great people and they don't believe in God at all. And I think everyone's different. For me though, that's just something I grew up upon. I think God definitely has like taught me a lot over time. I know it's kind of like a cliche term, but I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at without him today. Especially over like the past couple of months where like nobody really knows this, but I'll get into it a little bit later. So I was in a car accident, like back in November, so about 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago. And long story short, but I fell asleep driving. It was like 6 in the morning. I was coming back to my place where I live from a friend's house, and I stayed the night there. I slept for like a couple hours, and then I fell asleep driving, and then like ended up like my whole car was just like flipped and flipped into like the bottom of a ditch of a highway, and I was on the highway when I fell asleep, and then so like that like whole like morning was kind of hectic. Like I was freaking out once I was in the car. Like everything was like it was crazy. Like I was yelling in the car when it was flipping. Nobody really knows. Like nobody knows about this accident besides my family, like my best friends, because I'm not the one to like post my car on Instagram or anything like
Yeah, yeah.
that, or like
Damn.
say like, hey, like I'm alive. Like that's not me. It's like nobody knows about this, but yeah, I was grateful to be alive for sure. I had to like kick my way out the door. Like the whole car was totaled. And then I kind of just ran up the hill and asked for help. And a couple of cars, like went by me and they didn't say anything. But luckily, this one guy came by and called the cops and did that whole thing. And just when the ambulance got there, it was just, how are you alive right now? Like it was just like it was incredible. Like I told him, I was like, honestly, like I don't know how I'm alive right now. Like I can just do nothing but thank God right now, because it's like 7 in the morning. It's like night still, because at the time it was like a rainy day. So like apparently like I guess my car just kind of slipped over or something. I don't know. I was asleep. That's it.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just crazy to like be alive right now. So like that week moving forward, I was like scared to like even drive. I was scared to get in the car. And then I kind of just took that lesson and just ran with it. Like one of my best friend Noah, he gets like upset at me sometimes, especially my brother Christian. Every time I make jokes about the accident, so there's like a little thing that I do. Like if it, like anything comes up, like I'll just bring up the accident like a little bit, like as a joke, and I'm like, oh, just make sure like you don't fall asleep. And and so like they kind of get mad at me with that, but like they're just like, yo, like that's not something to like be like laughing about or anything like that. I'm just like, like I learned my lesson though. Like it's just like it teaches you like you're not like invincible. Like you can like God forbid, but you can die at any moment, and like it's just something that you got to be blessed about just to be alive like every day. So then from that day moving forward, I was just like really thankful. I had no injuries. I was really sore for a couple weeks. Had terrible backache, but now like I'm like completely good, and I definitely took that as like a big life lesson. Like you just never know like when it's over, like for you.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. I had actually no idea that even happened.
Yeah, no, yeah, only like my family knows. A couple of my best friends know, and that's really about it. Tip like you see a lot of people on Instagram get in a car accident, post their car. I didn't, I didn't want to do that. Just I don't like when people like have to like. I don't. I just don't like. That's not really me. I don't like to seek attention. I'm
Yeah.
not saying those people that do that seek attention, because like I'm sure those people just want to make sure like everyone knows that they got in a car accident, which isn't a bad thing. But for me, I mean, everyone's different. For me, it was just I'll just keep it to myself. It's nobody's business. But for sure, it was definitely like life changing. I never thought I would get in a car accident. I always thought like I was like invincible from car accidents, but that was definitely like life changing for me, and it was just made me realize a lot. Maybe like just it took me like probably about 2 weeks to kind of like fully like get over it, and then once I got over it, it was just thanking God every day that I'm alive, really. And my family was like, yeah, like I was like really ugly, like you could have like died there, and I was like, yeah. So I'm just truly grateful just to be alive right now. It sounds cliche, but I mean it's the truth.
No, yeah, it's the truth for sure. You said that. Wait, you have two brothers, right?
Yeah, I got one older one. He's 20. Oof, he's 26, and my other one is 24, and then I'm the youngest at 20.
You learn a lot from them.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Especially so they both played basketball in high school. My oldest brother Lewis played through high school. He didn't play college. He decided to go like just get his degree and get to work, which now he's He works with a bank in finance right now, and has like a couple side jobs as well. And then my middle brother, which is Christian, he played basketball all throughout high school. He played at West Orange, and then he also played college. He played at a couple of schools, and then he ended up graduating at Truett McConnell, which is a school in Georgia. So then I definitely get a lot of my stuff from my brother Christian, just because we grew up like living together. We grew up together. We played the same sport for longer, so we definitely trained together. But they taught me like a lot just about just life in general. Christian's taught me a lot about basketball when I was still playing. He teaches me a lot about just money stuff, how to like deal with my money and my jobs and make sure I'm making the right decisions. And then my older brother is kind of like the bigger mentor. I see him like, as weird as it sounds, he's kind of like my dad. Not my dad, but like that's how old he is. Like he's 26 years old, which I'm only 20, and so like his life is like more advanced than like where like I'm at, obviously. So then like every time I see him, it's like, oh shoot, like you're really grown, like.
Mm-hmm.
So then, but like I relate to Christian more just because we like spend more time together and just play the same sport for longer and just work out every day and still live together. So it's just kind of like how it goes. You know, I'm sure those of you that have like a older sibling that's like 6 years older or younger, like you can relate to what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, I have. I'm a middle child. I have an older brother and a younger brother. 22 months apart from my older brother, 5 years from my younger. And any chance that I get to like tell my little brother anything, like I try and teach him as much as I can, just about what I've experienced and stuff, because you kind of want them to be better off than you. And um, I have a really big family. I have a bunch of cousins, and most of them are guys. I actually only have like two girl cousins, so I've kind of like seen their process as far as growing up and stuff like that. And I feel like I've kind of learned a lot just from hearing their stories and stuff. And there's definitely a lot of like value to what they even have to say.
How was your relationship with your cousins and all that? Like,
Really good. I talked to a lot of them. Actually, I actually shouted out my cousin on the last podcast, but he helped. His name's Mike Stockwell, and Mike helped me with the logo for this,
yeah.
just a bunch of other stuff, and he's kind of into film and everything. I've been talking to him a lot, and then I try and reach out to all my cousins as much as I can.
That's
So
one thing like I was super big on, which I didn't like. I grew up like not really having like a relationship with my cousins, or my grandparents really for that matter. So like really like most of my like stuff that I learned is from like my brothers. I do have a few cousins that like I'm really close with. There's one that lives in Milwaukee and Tampa. She's like back and forth, and then there's another one. They live in Milwaukee because my whole family's from Milwaukee and Chicago area, and then so like they're all like scattered apart like different states, which like kind of sucks because that's one thing I always wish I had was like a good relationship with like my cousins. Like we could all like hang out and just go out together, and then like seeing my grandparents like every day. That's definitely something I wish like I had, and like which is something I like love that other people have. It's kind of cool.
yeah, no, I mean my cousins, they're all over the place. I got one in Portland. I got a
Yeah.
couple in Pennsylvania. A couple in South Carolina or North or South Carolina, wherever East Carolina is.
East Carolina. It's not even a state.
Well, no, East
East.
Carolina University.
Oh, East Carolina University.
Shout out Lucci.
I have no idea where that's at, to be honest. ECU.
I want to say South Carolina, but
Probably is South
yeah.
Carolina. On the east side of South Carolina.
Yeah, no, it's cool to talk to them and everything like that. I definitely have learned a lot, and it's cool because when I started this podcast and everything like that, they've just really been wanting to help with it too. They
Yeah.
any way that they can, they've been giving me feedback and stuff. So I really appreciate all of them doing that. But going back to you and your brother's relationship, you said that your brother's into stocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, Lewis, I don't think he's into stocks like that. But Christian is definitely into stocks. He talks to me a lot about it. I kind of just sit there, listen, and like act like I'm like understand what he's saying. So like once that whole AMC stuff like kind of broke out, and like how like just the whole social media world was going crazy, and how like that whole thing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know what that is, but just a lot of it went down, and then Christian just like was talking to me about everything, and I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. So that's one thing I'm trying to get into. But yeah, he's definitely into stocks. He works at Mercedes Benz right now. He's a salesman there. So he has like a full time job as well, and into stocks. So like he's definitely into different like sources of income. I'm sure that's like cliche these days. Like I want to have multiple sources of income, which I'm sure we all do. Which I certainly do have multiple sources of income. But he's definitely into stocks. I'm not so big on stocks. I think it takes forever to get your your investment back. But I mean he's definitely he makes like I think yesterday he made like just $90 in one day. Like he didn't take the money out or anything. He just left it in there, and then he just invests more and more like every day and every week. And once you just keep at it, I guess, and once you know what you're investing in, once you become good at it, like you become like actually really rich. Just depends on if you're investing in the right things. You know what you're doing. You can't just put like $1,000 into something that like is not good because you will lose it.
Oh yeah.
So he's definitely just into all that stuff. I'm not so much into it.
Yeah, I just started to get into stocks, like probably September or something like that. We got like a Robinhood account. Robinhood sucks.
Does it?
I mean, basically, there's like a huge meme going around, especially with what happened with AMC and GameStop and everything like that, where it was like Robinhood is Robin the Hood. You know what I'm saying? Because they.
Yeah, because what they did. Right?
Yeah.
I understand. Like once I was on Twitter and like I saw like Robinhood, AMC, GameStop, and Elon Musk like all trending. I was like, oh man. I was like, market's about to crash, definitely.
Yeah.
But like once I like clicked the link and like read it, like I understood like what it was saying. I had no idea what was going on though. Like I had like literally zero idea. Like apparently like I don't know, like Robinhood wouldn't let you like trade off like the AMC stock or GameStop stock because it was like too high or something. I have no idea.
there was way too much volume and essentially like the stocks were getting bet on, or I gotta like phrase this the right way because
There's a lot of ways to explain stocks. So.
Yeah. So essentially, these hedge funds with billions and billions of dollars were betting on these stocks declining in price, like essentially losing their value. GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, like those are the big four companies that I guess that they were betting on. And this Reddit account slash Discord slash just social media in general called Wall Street Bets, just like a bunch of kind of degenerates, known for losing a bunch of money on just dumb investments and things like that, but that's what they're known for, is just like, making really dumb investments, some of them working out, some not, basically making the stock market a casino. They found out that these hedge funds were like betting against these companies, and they're like, hey, if we pump this stock and inflate the price, they'll have to buy more stock on top of it to limit like the amount of money that they were going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over Twitter like, oh,
Yeah.
like, the government doesn't want like billionaires to lose money, so they're stopping like all the middle class and lower class people from making money. I was like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understood it in like like in a basic term. Like I understood what was going on. I just didn't understand like the insides of it. Like it was just kind of crazy.
Do you know how much the hedge funds lost in that?
I have about billions, I would assume.
70 billion.
70 billion?
Bad.
Yeah, I figured because like the government can't have billionaires lose like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because they kind of control like the stock market. For example, Elon Musk controls like the stock market. Like at any given point, like if he really wanted to, like he can like have the stock market crash.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That's which is like really scary.
Well, he could definitely make the Tesla he could definitely make Tesla just completely crash. He's actually tweeted one time, Tesla stock is too high, and then that day it just dropped. Like
he did the same thing. I mean, he didn't do the same thing with Dogecoin. That whole thing that happened, like
Oh,
to
yeah?
get it to like $1. Actually, he was smart on this part. I was talking to my brother about this yesterday, but apparently, like he like got Dogecoin like really hyped and like had everybody invest in it. Changed his bio to like hashtag Dogecoin or whatever it was, and then so everyone kept investing in it and trying to get it to $1. And my brother was actually one of the people that put some money into it.
Same
And,
here.
he put like I think he put 100 into it, and then like at one point he was reaching like $500, and then I was like, dude, like take it out. He was like, nah, I'm gonna wait till it gets to $1 if I can get like $4,500 or whatever it was. And then like a week later, he ends up like buying Bitcoin, which he did that a couple of days ago, right? Like he bought Bitcoin or like cryptocurrency or whatever it was, which is like competition for like Dogecoin. So like he kind of lowered that value just to buy it for 1.5 billion, which like was a brilliant move.
Yeah, and um, cryptocurrency is like completely changing the game, really, and it's really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where that stuff goes. Um, Dogecoin was made as a joke, and Elon Musk knows that, but he knows that with all his influence, he could essentially make it some sort of currency. So that's, I guess, what he's trying to do. Um, I know that you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin now. A lot of people are going that way too, just because it's really
I actually have a couple of friends that have like a Bitcoin card or whatever. I don't know how that works. I have no idea what a Bitcoin is really. Like I know what it is, but I don't really know like how it works or anything like that. Like if I wanted to like go to Tesla and buy like with a Bitcoin, like I have no idea how I would do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Bitcoin's really confusing. Essentially, what it is like somebody mining on a computer. They're essentially like, so you have to solve an algorithm, right,
Yeah.
to produce Bitcoin. And every time that you solve this algorithm to produce Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin that there are, the harder it is to solve this algorithm. So like, the more Bitcoin that there are, the more expensive it's going to be,
Yeah.
just because it's harder to mine. And I mean, it's really confusing. Stock market's just like any sport. The more time that you put into it, the more that you understand about it.
The
And
more
I'm
money you put
still extremely unfamiliar with it. But the big thing that I've learned, the most important thing I think that I've learned, and you've probably heard this too, but just the way that like compound interest kind of works. When you're 20, your money, like a dollar, is worth a lot more to you than when you're 60. I think like the numbers on that, it's like $1 when you're 20 is worth like 15 when you're 60 or something like that, which is insane to think about. So like, having a savings account is good and all, but you're actually losing money to inflation with it just sitting in there. So like having your money just kind of in stock markets and stuff. So
Yeah,
like,
that's a whole different topic, but yeah, that's definitely a lot of people that don't like really know about these days. How to like leverage your money, how to leverage credit. I think a lot of like the stigma out there is like credit's terrible for you. Like being alone is like being in debt is like terrible for you. And then like there's a lot of people out there like, oh, I'm gonna like buy my car off in cash. I think all of that stuff is kind of like no, like that's not a good idea. I actually saw it on Twitter. I was talking to a good friend of mine. He was like, "Dang, she bought her car in cash." He was like, "If only she knew how to leverage her money." So there's definitely a big stigma like credit is bad for you, and like I just wish like they taught it in schools more. Luckily, like I have different group chats that I'm in, and have two older brothers that and like two accountants that my parents are accountants that teach me a lot of like money stuff and credit stuff and how to go about like taking loans and like having it work for you and not having to like buy a car in cash and just like finance it and build your credit. Same thing with like having a mortgage, doing all that stuff. So there's definitely a lot of things that like I've got into recently, especially like now with working every day. Just learning like the ins and outs of like stocks, how to leverage credit, and just do all this other like. It's boring. It's a lot of boring stuff, but
yeah.
it's definitely a lot of boring stuff. But it works like over time. I think we're both 20 years old, and then by the time we're like 30, like we'll be like really like knowledgeable about all of the stuff, and like our life will be really good and really simple. So like that's definitely something I wish like schools taught, like in high school especially, and even more so in college instead of just writing 10-page papers about Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Like that's
Dumb.
like that's like none of that stuff is gonna help anybody in the world. Like just be honest. But.
Yeah, no, for sure. Kind of going back to what you're doing. For anybody that's trying to get into real estate, what's the like, I guess, most important thing to starting up? Like in starting up, what's something that you learned that you had no idea was even like a part of it?
Oof. For someone trying to like get into real estate, I think before you take like your like certifications, exams, and classes, do some research. Like before I took any class, before I signed up for any class, I did a lot of research on real estate, especially with COVID happening. Learn your your area, like learn how the stock market is gonna go, learn how like people's financings are looking with COVID and everything. Like learn how hard it is gonna be to sell, learn how to sell, learn what you're selling. So it's definitely what I did was I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, did a lot of readings about real estate, and then after I did that for like a month, couple months or so, I took my class and passed it, and took my exam and did all that stuff. And now I'm into real estate where like I'm learning every day. And I think like the biggest thing that I've learned like so far is just like it's important to build relationships. It sounds cliche, but it's truly important to build relationships. A lot of people want to feel comfortable with like who they're like working with. Essentially, you're getting between 5 to 10% of like the commission on like whatever house you're selling or selling them to, and they know that. Like they don't want to seem like, oh, you're only in it for the money, which yeah, like I mean the money's good and all, but like you have to make them feel comfortable. Like talk to them, make them feel like you're like their best friend, which essentially like I've built like a lot of different relationships through my two jobs, and I never look at the commission checks ever until like I know for a fact they're gonna sign. So then typically that's just the biggest thing that like once you get into like a firm or a brokerage, they're gonna tell you the same thing that I'm saying. They're gonna say nothing you learn in the textbook of real estate or like in the class that you took, the exam that you took, none of that matters to what you were doing.
Wow.
Essentially, the only thing that really matters is if you know how to speak to people, if you know how to build relationships, and if you know, just understand basic numbers. How much is that house? Oh, it's $400,000. Understand like the mortgage stuff and like the small stuff of like the math with when it comes to it, which you have to know that stuff. You can't just not know it and just sell a house. But it's literally, I would say, 70% relationships, 10% the math of it, and then just 10% of just like knowing like what's legal, what's not illegal, like legal, like the laws of it, and then the rest of the 10% is just knowing your area, knowing like what you're doing, and that's one big thing that I've realized quick. I literally like the exam and the class was so boring. I'm just being honest. Like if you can sit through that exam, and you could do anything, but that's how boring it was. Super boring. It was super like I took mine online. My course it took me about a month. You could take it as fast as you want or as slow as you want. I just happened to take mine. It took me a month, and then I passed my exams. And then I had a speaker on the computer, so like it was like audio because I hate reading. So then he went through every single chapter, just about the different chapters of real estate and just all of that. And he talked super slow. Fell asleep a few times, and it was just super boring. But like anything you learn in there is just literally non-existent when you actually work with real estate. So
Yeah.
anybody like trying to come up with real estate and do all that, just do your research, then get into the course. Just know that the course is super boring, but it's just something you have to get through it just to get a job and make whatever you want to do with your future. And then once you get into like actually working, it's super fun. Like you'll love it. Like absolutely.
Yeah, that's sick. So 10 years down the road, what's your where you want to be?
10 years down the road. Um, so right now, I'm gonna stick with real estate and being a solar sales rep with like my job that I have right now. And then I want to open up a gym. So one big thing I don't know if I want to franchise yet or open up my own. I, for those of you that don't know, I do work out a lot. I love gyms. But also another thing, like I hate like, so like Planet Fitness has like this thing like where like if you like slam like a thing like on the ground, like a weight on the ground, like they like the alarm, whatever. So like I want to open up a gym where like you can have your shirt off, you can play like loud music. So like I have loudspeakers playing like Future on the speaker. You can take your shirt off, do whatever you want to do as long as like you maintain like the ultimate respect for the gym. So that's one big thing I've been like talking to my brother a lot about is opening up a gym. And then after that, I just kind of want to do a lot of investing into different properties. I'm probably kind of like throwing out my whole like plan out here, but but I want to invest in different properties, have just different multiple sources of income. But that's my goal. My main goal is just to open up my own gym, most importantly, or a franchise, but definitely open my own gym just kind of has like something that has my name to it, like something that I own and something that's like I think that's like a dream come true. And then over time, I want to be just open up my own brokerage as well. Those of you that don't know, like brokerage, like a broker hires real estate agents into their firm, and like that broker does like whatever like those like his agents sell, like he gets like a big portion of it, and then so like brokerages make a tons of money. I'm not really in it for the money. I mean, I am. That's my job, but it's more than money to me. But I definitely want to be like a broker one day, open up my own brokerage, and then as far as my other job with solar sales, I'll see what that leads me because it's super brand new. So like I don't know like the future on that, but definitely open up my own brokerage and definitely like open up my own gym and just get into like the whole like investing stuff with real estate because that's kind of my life now. It's real estate, so I want to get into all that stuff. It's kind of my 10-year plan. A lot of things happen throughout the years, though. It's always going to change every day.
Yeah,
It'll probably
definitely.
change tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But life is like that. But
It's funny actually. One of my cousins, he lives in Claremont. He moved from Oregon. He started up his own gym and everything like that, and he's gone through it and everything. So, and he went to college for that and everything like that. Brandon Nelson, shout out Brandon. I'm sure you're listening to this, but my guy over here, he wants to probably learn from you. So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, definitely put me on because that's something I definitely want to do. Even when I was in high school, I was like looking at LA Fitness, looking at all these different like gyms, and I was like, I want to open up like my own gym and franchise it and just have it in like mainly in Florida. I want to have it to just be like a Florida gym just because I grew up here. I love Florida. I don't think I'll ever leave. But definitely have one like in like Orlando. Well, mostly downtown Orlando. Have one in Windermere. Have one in like Tampa, Miami. Clearwater, stuff like good areas like that where like it's like really populated. So that's definitely one of my like dream goals. That's definitely what I want to do with in the future. And then of course I want to finish and get my bachelor's degree. I'll do that really soon. My major is psychology. Don't ask me how, why it's psychology. I honestly don't know. I just know I'm good at it. It's really easy. So I am getting my degree in psychology as well. And then just see kind of where that goes. That's like a whole different topic of what I'm doing right now. So I'm kind of doing all of this stuff as well as with school. So I'm definitely super busy, but for sure the next 10 years, this is kind of my plan. See where it leads me. I never really know. I just try to like focus on today, what I'm doing now. I let the rest figure itself out. That's kind of how I go about my days and years.
yeah, and psychology is actually really interesting because I think that there's going to be a lot of kind of investment in that field pretty soon, especially with the growth of like meditation and things like
Oh yeah.
that, and just a lot of mental health issues going
Honestly,
on.
that's yeah. Especially with like happened with COVID happening, I think the suicide rates was like it went up like super crazy like through COVID and quarantine, which understandably I don't. It was tough for me to sit in the house like all day just doing nothing and only getting like outside time for like 2 hours a day, just my workout that I did outside. But yeah, for sure I take mental health really serious, which is also why I'm in psychology. I've actually had a counselor like my freshman year. They were like, "What do you want to do with psychology?" I was like, honestly, I don't know. I just know like I'm really good at it. I love it. I'm really like I like to understand just like how the mind works, how mental health works, how society works, and why it does what it does, and why people are driven, why people aren't driven, why people are depressed, why people aren't depressed. And so it's just something that really interests me. I don't really exactly know what jobs are out there for psychology. That's just a different topic. I'm sure there's like people be like, oh, just be a therapist and just talk to people all day. I don't want to really do that because I think I rather talk to people and help someone out instead of having them pay me. I just feel like that's like kind of messed up. Like you have to pay me to help you. It's just like literally just like talking to somebody and they feel better. But yeah, that's definitely something I'm getting into as well. I don't know what jobs are out there for that.
Sports psychology.
Yeah, I've actually one of the things that was often when I was playing basketball. She was like, "Oh, just be like doing sports psychology." I was like, "Just because I play basketball doesn't mean I want to be in sports or anything like that." But
Yeah.
that was definitely an option when I was talking to her. But yeah, right now it's just focusing on my jobs, getting my degree in psychology, and then just going from there. Having that one big time goal is to open up my own gym. Honestly, I probably open it with my brother as one of his goals as well. And so open up our own gym, and then just kind of go from there. Throughout the years, you kind of just learn different things every day, and it's just kind of like cool to just change your mind at any like time you want, just because you're young. So I can kind of, for all you know, like tomorrow I'll quit real estate and do whatever and just be a psychiatrist. And I'm young, I can do that. So like I have that gift of just, we all have that gift of being young and being able to do that. So like just having to just try multiple things and see what works and see what you love to do. I think that's the biggest thing. Being our age and doing that whole thing with school and working and all that stuff. So
Yeah, that this kind of goes into our concluding question, and looking at the time, it's probably a good time to conclude everything. But so, what does it ahead of the count mean to you?
when I first saw it, I knew it was about baseball because I knew you played baseball. I was like, I'm sure it has something to do with pitching and stuff like that. But I looked at it as much deeper because I knew like it wasn't just gonna be about baseball. I knew it was bigger than that because baseball isn't everything. Sports isn't like everything. That it's part of our lives, but it's not everything. I once I heard like ahead of the count, I just always thought like being ahead of like just being ahead of other people. Not necessarily in a bad way, like just knowing like what you want to do and knowing like who you are, knowing your purpose in life. That's kind of what ahead of the count like when I first read it. I never really asked you what it meant. I just figured it was about that what I've just said. But yeah, just finding your purpose in life, or trying to find your purpose in life. Just being driven every day. Just I mean the head just means, you know, being ahead, and then ahead of the count is kind of the baseball term because you have to add baseball in there somehow.
Had
But
to have a little spice of baseball in it, I
yeah, but
guess.
for sure this podcast is like, especially the past couple of episodes that I've heard. The one that I've heard the whole thing was the baseball player from Red Sox. He got drafted.
Yeah, Blake.
Blake, is that his name? Yeah. So I watched that whole podcast, and he kind of said the same thing I said a little bit, but yeah, I just knew it had to be about just bigger than baseball, and just like finding your purpose in life and being driven with everything that you do. I'm sure I'm tagging along, right?
Yeah,
Sounds about
definitely,
right.
definitely. I mean, I see what you're doing, and I see the exact definition of what ahead of the count is.
Yeah.
So, you want to plug all your social medias and everything like that?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Joshua Cologne. Last name is Colon, and then the number 10 right after that. That's my personal page. I follow everyone back. I follow like 2,000 people, so I'm not like famous or anything like that. But and then my Twitter is my first name Joshua underscore, and then last name Colon Cologne, and then the number 10. And then my business account is just my first name, last name, Joshua Cologne underscore real estate. That's my business account. I'm posting a lot of stuff there in the near future. Just stay tuned for that. And then if any of you guys are out there just want to text me about real estate or just about college or about what I do and how I'm doing it and just any tips and like different stuff, I'm definitely open to it. I read everyone's DMs. Even if like it ends up in my request, I always click them. I don't leave nobody on like open. I mean on delivered or anything like that. So I definitely help you out. I know yesterday, this kid I didn't even know, like I think he's a freshman in high school. He goes to Windermere. He like texted me. He was like on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, like I saw your highlights at Windermere and like you were super good, man." Like he was like, "Do you have any tips for me to make the team?" And I kind of told him, like you wouldn't really like these days, like if you text like someone that like played college basketball and does what he does right now, do what I'm doing, you have no time for nothing. And like to text him, I'm sure that meant everything to him. So like he replied back with like another paragraph. He was just like, yeah, like I'm trying, I appreciate you just texting me, and that's what I'm here for. Like anything, any way I can help anybody, I'll put you on game, and literally I won't charge you a dime for it.
Yeah, that's
Jokes.
sick. And to that kid who hit you up, you're ahead of the count too.
Yeah,
I
for
don't know
sure.
a lot of freshmen that are just hitting people up
Yeah,
that are out
there's
of there and
especially
everything like
people
that.
that already graduated high school, and like last time I touched like the high school court was like 2 years ago, I think something like that. So then especially like yeah, and to find my highlights and watch it and just even compliment me, like I mean made my day. I was like, dude, like I appreciate like
That's sick.
a kid from high school. He's just starting high school. Like you watch my highlights and you had the nerve to text me, find him on Instagram and text me and ask for like advice. And I think that kid's gonna be special. Like not a lot of kids are like that these days. A lot of kids are just trying to like get on TikTok and dance and
Nah, not that. That's for
yeah,
sure.
never that.
Hey, I really appreciate you coming out, especially in these beginning times. It's really hard to get people to come on here, so I really appreciate it.
You already knew I was gonna say yes. The second you texted me, I was like, oh yeah, that's a must. I'll definitely get that one going.
Yeah, it's sick. It was a really good conversation. Again, I appreciate it a lot.
Always.
All right, Josh. Everybody out there, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, do all that. Follow us on Instagram. We appreciate the support. Have a good day.
See you guys.
Yeah, see ya.